first of all, could I ask you just to bring us up to date? So how are things going up to now?
So there have been quite a lot of development from starting to having the HoloLens and not knowing what to do with it, up to now that I have managed to get a lot of things running. And there's quite a lot of meetings and networking now that happens with other people that are interested. So I think there is a lot more interest than what I initially understood there would be. And there's a lot more future into this whole program and pilot study. I think it needs to be more than a pilot now.
Yes, I agree with you. I think this is going to continue to expand. So I've got a couple of questions about the technology, if you like, and then a couple about the applications of the technology. Yes. So my question about the technology is, I like to think about technology-enhanced learning and technology-enhanced care. And let's take technology-enhanced learning first. How useful do you see HoloLens being for training?
I think it would be extremely useful in training scenarios and situations, especially with medicine or with all the affiliated professionals, because it allows access to areas where it would be difficult or sometimes impossible to get to, especially in large numbers, like ODPs. It's very difficult to get ODPs into theaters, but they can actually get a real life environment using the HoloLens and interact with the surgeon that or the anesthetist or the ODP who does the procedure. Same for medical students, or say even more with pediatric trainees. I was speaking with a pediatric consultant the other day. It's very difficult to see signs or symptoms in a small child. But with the device, you can not only see that, you can interact with the clinician who does the examination, and you can also, at the same time, see the indications for any treatment. You can read a textbook or read a paper using the same device simultaneously. So it enhances the learning experience significantly.
Wonderful, thank you. And now turning to technology-enhanced care. So, how this might help your interaction with the service user. Do you see it having a benefit there?
Yes, this goes into two areas. One is the actual delivery of the care. For example, a clinician can have with him the textbooks or the surgical techniques or the x-rays and scans of the patient while we operate or we deliver the service. But it can also help quite a lot with the consent process and the understanding of patients of their problems, because you can either use this device that VR has the small issue with dissociating people from their environment, whereas with the augmented reality, it is a little bit better tolerated, so the patients can understand what the problems are, what you plan to do with them. So the whole experience becomes a lot more better, and I think there's a lot of future in all of those technologies.
How are you finding the idea of grappling with constant content creation?
So this needs a lot of cooperation. This cannot happen with, because we're medics and we try it as medics, as end users, but the content creation requires people with special skills. And the ones that have the skills to do this are the digital engineers that create computer games. I think this is the main group of people that can help develop content. Together with people in the digital recording environment where they can record sessions or process images. So all of that, I think, will be, you need two teams. One will be the team that creates the content, and the other is the clinicians who create the scenarios. So the clinicians will need to come up with what they need for their teaching, and then the content creators will work with them in collaboration to see what can be developed as content. And this interface, it needs a multidisciplinary team to be able to have a good output.
you are already collaborating with University of Kent and others and other clinicians. And as we've said, we met with people from quite far up north. And so, are you looking for more collaboration, more interaction, or are you now fighting us off with a stick?
No, no, no. It has to become a very collaborative. This has to be a big collaborative approach, not just with UK institutions. It has to be international in a way. So
Yeah.
it's. I have looked into people from Greece, the United States, Brazil. There are Switzerland. So there are lots of people interested in content. The problem is the actual content creation. So if we manage to create a nice hub that develops content for these kind of devices, we can have people from even outside the UK that will be involved,
Yeah.
either to help with scenarios or to actually help with the development of the content. So there's a big community out there, especially orthopedic surgeons for some reason. I don't know why, but they were very interested in creating things.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I had a crazy thought about the virtual fellowship. So I know there's a Swiss guy who is very fond of his Hololenses, and he does virtual meetings with the Brazil guy. I spoke with both of them.
Right.
They exchange ideas about how to treat cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of the Swiss guy will start a fellowship in Switzerland, and I was thinking if we create something nice here, his fellows there could experience what we do here in the virtual world, in the meta world. So they get training without actually physically being in the country.
Yeah. 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 Ah, that's really exciting. Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic. So we could go skiing in Switzerland and then go on the beach in
On the
Brazil.
beach in Brazil, exactly. Yes, and there's lots of. I mean, I spoke with Kettering, Royal National Orthopedic. There's lots of people that are interested, but the main thing to be able to create is a hub that will then create the content and in a form that is free to use.